Last week, we marked the anniversary of September 11th, commemorations for the tragic actions of 19 suicidal psychopaths who murdered nearly 3,000 Americans in a single morning. The images of that day still haunt us, and yet, alongside our grief, we remember something else. For a brief, shining moment, we came together as one people. The world rallied around us. Neighbors helped neighbors. There was hope that tragedy might spark unity. This coming week, we commemorate something different: the signing of our Constitution, the bold framework that created our federal republic. It was not perfect, but it was revolutionary. It divided power, checked ambition, and bound states and citizens into a shared covenant to protect liberty. We should celebrate that. We should teach our children to take pride in it. But we must also be very honest. Our federal republic is currently terribly out of balance. The structure the framers built to restrain power and elevate deliberation has too often been ignored, twisted, and betrayed. Congress defers to presidents. Presidents govern by executive order, and courts legislate by decree. States have become dependent on federal subsidies, leaving citizens more subject to Washington, D.C. than to their own communities. The framers warned us. George Washington, in his farewell address, cautioned against the spirit of faction and the dangers of consolidating power. Madison spoke of ambition needing to counteract ambition. Yet today, ambition is centralized and not balanced. Instead of a federal republic rooted in trust of the people, we have a political culture addicted to control from the top. And here is where Constitution Week and the anniversary of 9/11 meet. Because each September, we declare to all to hear, never forget. But too often, what we remember are only the fireballs in the sky, the collapsing towers, and the stench of death. We should remember more than that. We should remember how fear warped our republic in the years that followed, how we abandoned the careful balance the framers built and betrayed the very principles we claim to celebrate this week. On September 11th, we lost nearly 3,000 innocent citizens, and for a brief moment afterward, faith triumphed over fear and unity triumphed over division. But that moment was fleeting, and in its place, fear took root. Power consolidated. Liberty gave way to secrecy, surveillance, and endless war. And here lies the bitter irony. In our vengeful response to those 3,000 deaths, we sacrificed nearly 7,000 more of our own sons and daughters on foreign battlefields, with 1.8 million returning home with some disability, 40% of them for life. And beyond our borders, we unleashed devastation. In Iraq, Afghanistan, and beyond, hundreds of thousands of civilians were killed, families torn apart, entire societies destabilized, generations of young people orphaned or raised in rubble. And today, Gaza lies shattered before the eyes of the world, a whole society ground down in violence and siege. We repeat, never forget each year, but I can promise we are not the only people that will recite never forget. From Baghdad to Kabul to Gaza, children grow up remembering America, not for the unity or liberty that we represent, but for the wars and occupations and bombs that follow. So this Constitution Week, let us not simply recite the words of the preamble or toast the genius of Philadelphia in 1787. Let us remember how fragile this structure is. When citizens fall silent, when power goes unchecked, and when fear dictates policy. The Constitution is not a museum exhibit. It is a living covenant. It demands accountability from those in power and responsibility from each of us. To celebrate it, it's not just to wave a flag, it's to resist complacency, to renew our commitment, and to remember the promise of this republic endures only if we remain faithful to it. Never forget not only the attacks that shook us, but the choices we made afterwards. Never forget that our Constitution is only as strong as our willingness to live by it and our ability to revive our republic. Take care.